Hey, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back, and yes, welcome back. So today we are doing a collective reading. No rhyme or reason, just to find out what's the season, what's the energy, what does Source, your ancestors, the Most High have for you. A message that you most need to receive in this present moment. I'm going to pull the overall energy from the chakra deck. Okay, so coming right out the bat, we see that some of you may be dealing with insecurity, stability, feeling a little imbalanced in your root chakra. And then we also have quest. So some of you are on a quest, spiritual quest, I just heard. Doing your best to keep the faith. About these insecurities, about this quest. Wanting to speak your truth, I'm hearing. Many of you are changing your perceptions and or are in need of shifting your perception, especially when it comes to these insecurities. What I'm getting is that some of you have embarked upon some journey and you've been doing good. You actually surpassed what you thought it would be. Wherever you are in your journey, whatever this may be pertaining to, business, family, relationship, take it as it resonates. Put the energy where it goes for you. Whatever this thing is that you've been having insecurity, you've been feeling unstable, unsure about, you're being encouraged to shift your perception and go within and ignite your passions. You're being encouraged to keep the faith as you're going through this and to be devoted and committed to your project, to your relationship, to yourself. It's time to trust. Yeah, some of these things may be a great mystery to you, but I'm hearing that you guys are like the butterfly. You're coming out of the cocoon and it's time to trust the process. You're having a metamorphosis. In this metamorphosis, many of you are changing. And this is where the shifting of the perception comes in. Shifting in your thoughts, knowing you're capable, shifting your identity. And when I say shifting your identity, it's like, let's give some examples. Let's say this is business for many of you, because I'm getting that this has to do with your finances for some, and or a project that goes towards your finances. For some of you, this may be about a relationship and or love, be it platonic or romantic love, right? So, and some of you, this is self-love. Take this energy as it resonates. Okay, how I'm seeing this is that you're insecure. You've made some accomplishments. You've seen some changes. But now it's time for you to fully shift your identity. Shift your perception. And what does this identity shift look like? It looks like you trusting more in the work that you've put in. It looks like you receiving abundance and knowing that abundance is here for you. Abundance in thoughts, abundance in love, if this is a relationship, abundance in friendship, for those of you where this is platonic. But can you shift your perception to trust that even though you may not understand it all, and the reason you don't understand it is because it's new. Whenever something is new for you, it causes you to have to unleash your creativity about how you're going to move forward. And it's a quest, it's a journey that you're going on. And sometimes within this quest, you have to speak the abundance, you have to speak the positivity. Now, when you're speaking this abundance and this positivity, that's only a part of the journey. Speaking the affirmations is only a part of the journey. You then have to shift into knowing. And how do you strengthen your knowing? How do you strengthen your trust? Okay. The divine is saying, one, with faith. Knowing that you know that you know. And how do you strengthen that knowing? When there is something, even the slightest change of positivity in your situation. Let's give some more examples. Let's say this is business and you've always worked a 9 to 5. And now you're coming into being an entrepreneur. And in the beginning, it's not easy. You're learning everything from the ground floor and you're building. But anytime you make it to the next level, and this could be a very small detail. Let's say you're a content creator and you're creating content, and then where you used to get no likes on your videos, your recent most video got 10 likes. That's a confirmation. Acknowledge that confirmation and allow it to assist you in shifting your identity. So you spoke the affirmation, I am a great content creator. Then, because that's half of the process, the affirmation, right? After you've spoken that affirmation, then look for the confirmation. So maybe someone commented on your video and you never used to get comments. Maybe you've grown in viewership where you were at 1,000, you're now at 1,200, 1,100. Whatever the smallest confirmation is. Let's say it's in gardening, right? Let's go with gardening. You've been telling yourself you want to have a green thumb. You're going to do your best to grow this garden, and you planted the seeds, right? You went out, you tilled the soil, you planted the seeds. Well, then what does the confirmation look like on your garden prospering? It's where you start to see the first little leaves of your bloom, the first leaves blooming, where you start to see the growth. The seed was underneath, you couldn't see anything when it was in the ground. So the confirmation would be when you saw the actual greenery popping up out of the ground, right? Okay, so that's where you just know. Usually when you start a garden, you just have faith. You plant the seeds and you have the faith that it's going to produce fruit. And many of you have been putting in this work. You've planted the seeds for your business. You've planted the seeds for your relationship. You've planted the seeds to strengthen your family bond. You've planted these seeds, right? And now that you've planted the seeds, it's now time to have faith. You don't go outside and... Sorry, I'm looking for the next deck. Give me a second. You don't go outside and pluck up the seeds just to see if anything is actually happening. You trust. You have faith, right? You set out on that quest. Maybe not sure that you could do this. Insecurity in the beginning. Not sure, not stable. You set out on that quest, on that journey to get this garden going, and you plant the seeds, right? And then you have to just have the faith that you put the fertilizer in, you water them, and then you wait for the confirmation of the greenery to start to come forth. You don't go out and pull up the seeds. No, you got to shift your perception on that. So instead of doubting yourself, because that's what pulling the seeds up would be, is doubting yourself. You started the business and then you're like, whoa, I can't do this. This is too many steps. You relate to someone that you like them, but then you start telling yourself, oh, that person would never like me. Why would they like someone like me? You're pulling up the seeds. Confirmation. Hold on. If you're doubting, then you're pulling up the seeds. And it will be necessary to shift your perception on that. You just have to know with the Iwa's rune here that you're having movement. You're having movement, and the path that you're creating, it will be able for you to make it to completion. But you don't stop halfway through the journey. You don't go out and pluck up the seeds once you've started to see the greenery. You got to keep allowing it to grow until you reach the top. So many of you are all in your head when you should be balancing that out with your heart. And what does that look like when it comes to a garden? You know that you're in co-creation with Mother Nature. You've done your part, and Mother Nature will do the rest. What does that look like in a business? You put in the work. You know logically you took all the right steps. And then don't let your heart get heavy with doubt. And what does that look like in a relationship? It looks like watering it with care, with compassion, with time, with understanding, and overstanding. Root chakra again, creating a stable, firm foundation for your relationship to bloom, to grow. It also looks like being devoted and committed to seeing growth in your relationship. Not being all in your head like, should I do this? Could I do that? I should have done it better. I should have said this. I could have said that. No, it's you watching the quality of your self-talk. That's how you become devoted and committed. Not letting your brain be a weak muscle, but strengthen it with confirmation. Because daily we've been conditioned with our fears and our limitations. So it's time for you to overcome those limitations, overcome those fears. Don't let them take you over. And you do that by looking for the confirmation. If this has to do with a relationship, then you would look for confirmation in this person being just as interested to talk to you, to return a call to you. I'm not talking about some love bombing, narcissistic thing. No. Naturally, nurturingly, divinely guided, I'm hearing. But not letting your insecurities or being in your heart then shift the energy. It's going to take mastering your mind and balancing it out with your heart. Mastering your thoughts is about creating your own life, where your head meets your heart, and this is where the magic happens. In relationships of all kinds. Romantic, yes. Platonic, yes. Business, yes. It's also to help calm your mind, necessary to create healthy boundaries, and then you won't have to worry about if you're appearing weak. Healthy boundaries strengthen relationships. Healthy boundaries allow you to ignite your passions. Healthy boundaries can strengthen the movement of moving out and away from insecurity. Healthy boundaries help you on your quest to speak in truth and integrity, to also speak from the heart. So, what does a healthy boundary look like? Well, to create a healthy boundary, you must first get in tune with your own needs, your own desires, and your own feelings. To create a healthy boundary, you must also believe, you must also know that you are worthy of healthy boundaries. Especially if your relationship is to thrive, it is essential to know where the boundaries should start and where they should stop. The boundaries are going to help center you in your self-love by not allowing someone else to take you for granted, to make you feel like you're not worthy. The healthy boundaries are going to allow you to not have to have all of these submerged emotions, all of these hostilities or conflicts that you keep under the surface, silent resentment because you won't speak your piece and or because you didn't set proper boundaries. And so, like the Titanic, your relationship will sink because you didn't set the boundary to say, hey, there's an iceberg under here. You can't go that far or I'm going to put a hole in your tank. And you're going to take on the emotional waters that you may not be able to handle, and you'll sink. But by having these healthy boundaries, it will allow you to ignite passion in your relationship, because you'll be able to know what would offend your partner, and they will know what would offend you. They'll also know what will assist in creating a smile for you and for them. They'll also know where the intimacy and how the intimacy can grow. And intimacy, again, we've had this keep coming up, isn't just about the sex. This is about that non-physical part of you. When we separate our energies from others, meaning boundaries, you can gain more clarity about what you really want. Because you have to know what you want, what makes you tick in a relationship before you can go trying to make somebody else tick. If you haven't figured out yourself, if you don't know yourself, if you don't have boundaries with self even, because some of you will allow your boundaries to be walked over or crossed the line, and you don't know how to healthily say, stop, that's as far as you go. In a healthy way. I'm no relationship advisor. I'm simply channeling certain messages and I'm giving it to you. If you ever feel the need to go into therapy with your partner, do so. If you decide on therapy, I just heard, before marriage, do so. Whatever it takes to strengthen the bonds of your relationship, do that. For some of you, it may just take meditating together and or breathing. Learning to take quiet time together helps create that intimacy. Sitting with each other and breathing and naming all the things you love. And possibly even naming the things you don't love, the things that make you not feel loved. And you would have to know those things before you could actually have that conversation with someone else. But having that conversation, breathing with each other, communicating with each other can strengthen the bonds of a relationship. Are you now, before you enter into a relationship, business and or with family, do you give yourself all the love and attention you need? Because if you haven't strengthened that bond with self first, it's going to make it difficult to be intimate with another. I got two here. Are you having this awakened awareness of self before you decide to awaken the awareness of other? So what does the awakened awareness look like for self? It's your self-talk. It's strengthening the muscles of your brain where you speak to yourself positively and recognize where you may have had self-sabotaging thoughts and you speak very negatively to yourself. Some of you may not even recognize that this happens. So one of the ways to strengthen intimacy with self is checking your self-talk, conditioning yourself to speak positively to yourself, mastering your thoughts, and being the creator of your own life, because there are many levels of awakening. So keep learning and putting yourself into situations where you can grow. And know that a lot of these situations start with self. As you stay aligned with your inner guidance and you do what you love to keep your vibe high. It's not in the seeking of instant pleasure, instant gratification. It feels good for an instant, right? I mean, that's what a lot of people want to assume intimacy is. But that's just the sexual part of it. And if we want to keep it real, let's keep it all the way real. Sex lasts all of, well, I was going to say sex lasts all of 5 or 10 minutes, but if you're doing it right, let me stop. Anyway, I digress. My point is that the sex is not the intimacy. And so if you're going directly to sex, then that's just the instant gratification. That's the instant pleasure. But is it substantial? And is it sustainable? Is it really what gets you that sustainable joy? Or after, do you feel insecure because you really didn't sit to get to know the person? You can't sit and communicate after they get up and they leave, or you get up and you leave, and there's no real intimacy. Does it make you feel so sustainably joy that it helps you to unleash your creativity? Or do you feel shamed after? Do you feel like it was just an instant pleasure? What are your goals when it comes to relationships, business, platonic and or otherwise? What are your life goals? Have you thought about that? As a part of your awakened awareness, have you given yourself enough space to hear the answers to your soul, to hear the answers to your prayers, to find your own unique way to connect with the divine inside of you, not externally seeking instant pleasure? I did not know this reading was going here today, but this is the quest that many of you are on. Whether you know it or not, it's like your heart is crying out for you to find your own unique way to connect with the divine. The divine inside of you connecting to the divine Most High. Not where you're seeking externally Because that external instant gratification becomes insecurity for many of you. And you don't feel stable. You don't feel secure in self. So it's now time to shift your perception. Find your own unique creative way. It could be through breath for many of you. To connect with the divine. So that you're able to look between the lines and find a deeper interpretation as you're on this quest, so that you can speak freely from the heart. And what does that freedom mean to you? Is it living as you choose, with your heart open? Ask yourself, what does the freedom look like to you? Is it giving yourself the love and attention you need, the tenderness, the care, the compassion? What does it look like where you're being devoted and committed to self before you devote and commit to another? Have you loved and given yourself attention? Have you found your own unique way to connect with the divine inside of you? Because there's many of us, just through societal growings, programming, have a whole lot under the surface to deal with. And if you haven't taken that deep dive within inside of you, then you bringing a whole iceberg to somebody else, baby. That's like the Titanic round here. But faint not. Because what I'm getting, many of you have been putting in this work. Yep, like a gardener. And there's movement. There's movement in you finding your own unique way to connect with the divine inside of you. There's movement in you connecting with others. There's movement in you igniting your passions and finding more strength. There's movement in you mastering your mind. Movement in you trusting in these great mysteries as you watch the quality of your self-talk. Many of you, this quest is a quest for freedom. And you may picture freedom in different kind of ways. But when you truly feel free, is where you're able to trust in self. And this may not look like some big abracadabra change. Sometimes the slightest things that we implement, just small steps, baby steps, can create the drastic change. And it can start with recognizing where there are limitations you've placed on yourself when it comes to your mind and the way you think, the limitations of the way you speak to yourself, the limitations that are now asking you to shift your perception. But there's movement. I'm getting the energy. I feel the energy. There is a movement. And many of you have made this promise to yourself. To watch yourself talk. To find your own unique way to connect with the divine inside of you. You've made this promise to yourself to embark on this quest. You've made yourself a promise, for many of you, where you might be choosing to live a certain way, a way that makes you feel free rather than feeling obligated. However this fits for your scenario, obligated in business, like you didn't want to be obligated to a 9-to-5, so you went on the quest to become an entrepreneur. And you got through the process by starting with the affirmations, which is half of the process, and completing the process by looking for the confirmations. Because you're building your world creating expansion. Many of you are networking. Many of you are now ready to release constraints. Building your world, card number 33. It's a master number. You're mastering your life. I'm hearing mastering your breath for many of you. Knowing that when things start to feel tight around you or you start to have negative self-talk, you're learning to breathe through it. Deep breaths can change your energy instantly. Breathing in some good prana, yes, can help you to stop the limiting thought and the insecurities that are coming up. Taking in some deep breaths can assist you in keeping the faith. Let's do it right now. Take a deep breath with me. So when you find your mind coming up with negative self-talk, stop, breathe, and give yourself the love and attention that you need. Limitations can be just a state of mind, and the only change might be just choosing a shift of perception, choosing a shift of perspective can help bring lightness to your choices. Lightness and choice. Especially in the bigger picture, what does freedom look like to you? If you're feeling stifled, it is up to you to make a change, to make that change. I just heard Mike. And the easiest way to start to make that change is to breathe. Take a deep breath. When you start to feel stifled, when you start to speak negativity and you recognize that it's happening, take a breath, change your thoughts, change your perception, and then start to build your world again with positivity. Release any constraints and allow the river of breath and blessings to flow again as you tap into your strength. Many of you are now on your shamanic journey. Shamanic is just another word for healing. So many of you are healing within self, but many of you are also healers. Now, you don't have to be a healer of others, but most of you are. Honor that skill, that gift, that ability. But many of you, this healing journey is this quest that you're on. So you're learning to heal your thoughts. You're learning to heal the insecurity. You're healing and you're having faith. Many of you are healing and you're knowing now that, especially with this quest here, your quest is to speak. Like it's a part of your purpose. Especially with sacred breath and sound here. Bringing a lightness, a joy. Do you see the dolphin here? Dolphins are always very playful, but they also have their own unique sound that they make. So many of you are making your own unique sound. You're finding your own unique way to connect with the divine inside of you. And this is what this sacred breath and sound is all about. This is the quest that many of you have embarked upon. And I'm hearing there's movement, baby. Good job. Well done. Well done. Many of you are finding your purpose and you're moving in that purpose effortlessly. Are there hiccups along the way? Yes. We all have insecurities. If you said you don't, you just told a bold-faced lie. But the insecurities don't have to overtake you. You can use those insecurities to strengthen your foundation. How do you do that? Because they're showing you where you're presenting negative self-talk to yourself. Why does an insecurity come? Because you're not sure you can do a thing, but it's time to trust. Some things are going to be a mystery. You don't have to know everything to still move forward. You don't have to know everything to still speak sacred sound. You don't have to know everything to ignite your passions. You just have to trust. Trust and have faith. And this is the crown chakra. Do you see how this purple goes with this purple and the purple of the butterfly? That's no coincidence. I don't even do coincidences. It's divinely guided, baby. And you see this yellow that this lion is? That's that confidence coming from your solar plexus all the way up through your crown chakra, baby. Trust and have faith in the business, in the relationship, in the friendships, in your life, in yourself, and in your connection with the divine. Love over fear. Love, love over fear, baby. Trust and have faith. Okay, so that has been the collective reading for today. I want to thank you for joining me, and continue to communicate. Be playful in your communication. Be lighthearted with your communication, especially with self. Let not your self-talk lower your vibration. Breathe and bring that vibration back up. This is a part of your purpose for many of you. This is the quest that you're on, and you just received confirmation that there is movement. I want to thank you for joining me, Tonae Star, and remember, always shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you're still amongst the stars. And of course, always let your light shine bright. Do what? Let your light shine bright. Always let your light shine bright. Do what? Let your light shine bright. Yo, thank you for joining me, and you know what to do. Do I really have to tell you? Okay, I will. So look, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another video from me, and hit that like button too. You know I just made you smile. You know your spirit was just uplifted, and it has nothing to do with me. It came through the divine. It came from your higher self, because they knew you needed this message in this right now moment. And that like button, guess what? It don't cost you a thing. Have a great day. Bliss, peace, joy, love over fear, and abundance, baby.